Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel Anna Bella. Today I am going to be reviewing the new Netflix series One Day. It's based off a book which also has another film to it. So let's get to the review. Okay, here we are, the One Day Netflix season review. It's 14 episodes long, which means that it's 6,034 minutes. It's 15, unlike the film, which was released in 2011 and was 108 minutes long, was a 12A. It starred Jim Sturgis as Dex and Anne Hathaway as M. And there are some significant differences between the Netflix TV series and the film series. The film is presented as a hit and miss romance drama with slight comedy elements, and that's interesting in itself because they've got to cram it all in. Obviously, the Netflix One Day can take longer. Some of the episodes are 20 minutes, others are half an hour. And what I really like about One Day is it is literally just the Dex and M show. You do have significant other characters like Esmeralda from Poldark. She's Sylvie in the Netflix's version, and you actually get to see some growth from Sylvie, but we're going to get to that. The Maze episode, which is set in 1997, is perfect. It's a whole metaphor for their whole relationship when they get lost in that maze. Going to get to that as well. The whole sly and unseen thing comes from the Thomas Hardy novel Tess of the D'Urbervilles, which is incredibly famous and everybody should read it and requires no other explanation. One Day has got striking similarities to Normal People because you've got the class divide. Yes, Normal People is set in Ireland, but you've got the class divide with a working class boy and an upper class girl. Connell and, what is her name? Forgotten it. It'll come back. Or not, Marianne, there we go, Marianne, the upper class girl, and Connell, the working class boy. You've got links to Saltburn and Mothering Sunday. All of these deal with the British class system. One Day is no different in that it does something a little bit different. It's like North and South by Emma Gaskell. You've got a northern girl, Emma. In the TV series, they make her Asian as well, which is an interesting thing because Emma is from Leeds, she's not from Leicester or the Midlands, which has a particularly high Asian population because Idi Amin kicked all of the African Asians out. So they all came to Leicester. That's why Leicester has a high population of them. Moving on away from that, they both attend Edinburgh University and they climb Arthur's Seat, which is a hill that they have in Edinburgh. Dexter is a southern white boy from money, but this is really important. He is lower upper class. Yeah? Edinburgh is a university akin to St Andrews. It's for the people that were trying to get to Oxford and Cambridge, but not quite making it. So there is that. But Edinburgh is a capital city university of Scotland, just so you know. It is a big deal to go there. But it's really important to understand that Dexter is lower upper class. And people are like, lower upper class? What on earth do you mean? Well, Sylvie is upper class. She's not middle upper class. She is upper class. She's got a house. They've got the country pile. She's got the twins. They've got the whole thing. And it's very interesting that Dexter's degree is in anthropology because Dexter is a very interesting character. And people say, oh, he's not complicated. Dexter is incredibly complicated because he's lower upper class, which means, yes, he's going to inherit a lot of money, but actually he doesn't have a title. He doesn't have a country pile. Yes, they have that nice country home, but that isn't an estate. So he's not landed gentry with a deer park or a little farm connected to his big country manor. He's not that. He is lower upper class or upper middle class. You know, he's on that border. M, on the other hand, we assume she's from a middle class background. And what I mean by that is two parents that work, stable jobs, and she's pushed herself through with her education. to get there, hence why she ends up working at that awful Mexican restaurant doing that stupid dance, because she leaves university and she has to earn some money. She's not like Dexter, who's got the bank of mum and dad paying for him to go on a grand European tour. That being said, the book is by Dave Nicholas and it came out in 2009. And Beeka Mood and Leo Wooddell do a sterling job in the Netflix series, because it is literally just those two having a conversation in every single episode. Mum and dad of Dexter have done really well. I'm always gutted that we never got to see Emma's family at all. Yes, we do get to see Ian, who in the film does actually redeem himself, but in this is so annoying and you're just so relieved when he's gone. But at the end of the day, what is really nice about the whole story, even though by episode like 11 I was like, I don't want to watch anymore because I knew where we were going, but I'm like, you've got to watch, you've got to see it through. Even though I was going, I'm like, no, don't even go there, just get through it. What is really important with Ian, and the film does this really well with that beautiful scene where he says, you made Emma happy and she made you decent. They do have something similar to in the Netflix series, but it doesn't hit with such power. So for me, the film has a special place, but the Netflix series is far more realistic. Dexter's use his anthropology knowledge with his car crash 1980s terrible TV shows, which are very BMX track, radical, all of this sort of weird slang that comes over. And it's interesting that he ends up as a BMX presenter doing radical turn and all of that, because that is not UK culture. But BMX is an Olympic sport now and there is funding for it, even though we have to say radical turn or old school moves. Yeah, it was just embarrassing. But it shows that Dexter is forever seen as a little boy, like a teenage boy, like an American adult, young adult, whereas Emma clearly has far more responsibility because she has to be a teacher. She has to earn a living that way. So Dex always, I think, is struggling because he doesn't necessarily have naturally the responsibility that other characters have, and that's due to having this money that he can just cush on. Overall, and it's interesting, the relationship with Sylvie. In the film, you don't see the change at all, but in the Netflix TV show, you do see that Sylvie changes, and it's one of the reasons why her affair relationship breaks down, because she has to change, because she's got to do the best for Jasmine, e.g. Jazz, which is co-parent with Dexter. And she also has an appreciation for Emma because of how Emma helps Dexter. And that in itself shows that Sylvie, yes, she's from an upper class perspective, but she's learnt, she's improved. So by the end, when they're all there in Dexter's apartment, his father, Emma's friends, Ian drives 3 hours just to be there. Sylvie is there all to support him and all to remember this fabulous person called Emma, because I think one of the important things about Emma is, yes, she does pass, she does die tragically, but it's the amount of people that she's impacted. All of her students she's impacted. She's impacted Dexter's ex-wife, which is, you know, astounding, but she's changed all of their views on things, even if she did get drunk and call them bourgeois socialists, bourgeois capitalists when she went round Dexter's house for Christmas. But she was the only one that he brought back. There were all the signs that he liked her. His actions spoke louder than his words. His mum picked it up on it before she died of cancer. And it's interesting that his mum did say something to Dexter that was really profound. It's like, we've protected you from everything, which means that she was basically saying, you're in danger of real life really hurting you because you've been cushioned by our middle class, our upper class goldfish bowl. And it's worth pointing out that Dexter's sister, who is older and got 2 sisters, we never see her either. So that in itself is really interesting. And it's interesting that Ian found real support from Emma's parents, the parents that we never see, but he found them to be really supportive with his career. So that's interesting in itself. Yes, it is a 5 out of 5 series, One Day. But the Maze episode, I want to spend a little time with the 1997 episode because it's the one that resonates so beautifully. And the reason it does is 1997 is a really important year. Buffy the Vampire Slayer came out, Pokemon games came out, Death of Princess Diana happened in 1997. It's a huge year globally for the stuff that happened in it. The maze that Dexter and Emma go into is life. That's the metaphor for life. And they've got the lights on and they can see where they're going. And they sit on that seat, have that conversation, and then the lights go out and then they have to feel their way around. And that is a metaphor for their whole existence. The meeting on St. Swithin's Day, which is the 15th of July, every single day, every single year. That is a metaphor for their whole relationship. The fact that Emma kisses him first as disguised as a congratulatory kiss over his coming nuptials, but it's not. It's her last chance to kiss him as a lover would, and then he does the same to her after their conversations, and it's this constant near missing, so close but so far. But actually, when you look at their whole existence, which is one of the reasons why Em takes Jazz and his father to Edinburgh University to relive, to reaffirm those moments with Emma, he actually realises that they were with each other from the beginning. And it's interesting that they said that they grew up together, which is an interesting concept because young adulthood doesn't have the milestones that it does in America. In Britain, it doesn't. Once you're 18 and you're at uni, and you finish your degree and you graduate, that's pretty much it for young adulthood here. It's like, go out and get to work. Whereas Dexter and Em, they have allowed themselves a couple of years after that to grow and find yourself. And I know that that's what happens in America. And in the UK, we specialise earlier, so people tend to get into their careers earlier and just plough on. But it's very interesting. I love the Maze episode. It was brilliant. The music in the Maze episode is really good. It's got a really good soundtrack because obviously you've got the 1980s music, you've got the 90s music, and you've got the early 2000s music, which is very similar to Saltburn because Saltburn is set in 2017, the year Harry Potter came out. That Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows came out, so the last one. Normal People, again, is set in the recent past. So you've got that 90s and noughties feel to it. And it's very interesting that all of this sort of study of social class is coming through now. But Dexter and Em is also a study of the North and South divide within the UK. And I think that's really important. And I know that actually the film was really respectful of it. The Netflix series was really respectful of it. But I don't know whether American viewers will pick up on the social class divide thing or the North and South divide thing. Their attitudes are very different. Dexter's attitude is very different to Em's attitude. It's like, but you've got to be confident and you've got to go out and get. And it's like, yes, it's all right. You can be confident if you've got money because you can fall back onto it and another opportunity will be offered to you. If you're Northern, it costs a lot of money to get down to London in the first place. But you've got to find somewhere to live. Hence why she ends up in that pokey little flat with Ian, who also ends up living there because they have to mutually support each other, which is one of the reasons why Emma gets rid of Ian, because he's not pulling his weight. Anyway, 5 out of 5 for the whole of this. Yes, it's heartbreaking. We can go all down the romantic angle of it, which is terrible. But actually, it's a love letter to grief. And as the late Queen says, grief is the price we pay for love. So, 5 out of 5, and we're done. Well, I hope you enjoyed my review of the Netflix TV series One Day. Please like, comment and subscribe. And yeah, I know you're a puddle of mush, but that is the way of things. So stay safe wherever you are, and thank you for the support, and don't forget to click my notification bell for my next video. Bye!